everyone. Happy Fursuit Friday. This is Seán the Lapaíoighir. Happy to see you today. So for today's video, I wanted to try something a little bit different. So a lot of you know a little bit about some of my background, as it were. But how was it that I'm able to control ice, to make ice and that kind of stuff? And where exactly did my sona come from? How about we do a little bit of a story time today? What do you say? Come on, join me. Welcome. Please, take a seat. So, you come here because you want to know a little bit more about me, right? Well, for starters, my name is Seán. Na Lapaíoighir. That's Irish. It means essentially Lapa is Irish for meaning paws. So one paw is Lapa. Add the I, and that's Lapi, so that's paws, like more than one. So Lapi. Oir is Irish for ice. So how did I get called Lapaíoighir? Well, that's a good story, and I'm here to tell you. Back when I was a wee pup, I used to have my family, my clan. We lived up in the northern part of Ireland. It was way back, I can remember just like little bits here. There was a time, way back in the past, when we lived up in the north, up in the cold, in the rain. And I can remember a little bit of the beautiful sights, the green all around it. Ugh, it's just beautiful if you get a chance to see it. I highly recommend it. Anyway, so there was one night that I was with my pack, and there was a terrible windstorm. It was raining. It was absolutely freezing cold. Of course, when you're in fur, our clan grew up in the northern part there, so we're pretty much accustomed to the cold weather. It doesn't bother us. It's like just don't feel anything. So we got accustomed to that, and it was a few generations later that our clan had moved over to the northern part of the States. So naturally we go towards where there's a lot of cold climates. Of course, wolves love that. And we settled in an area that tended to get a lot of snow. So the interesting thing about our clan is that we all share the same marking. So if you look here on my arm, there it is. You roll that back here. There it is. So we've got a paw print here on our left forepaw, and indicating all of us being of the same clan or family. So it happened one night that there was a terrible storm, and I got separated from my pack. Now this was when, you know, I was a wee cub, and it was scary, you know, just being out there alone, you know, whimpering and like trying to yowl and howl for help, and with the storm and the wind, my pack couldn't hear me. So eventually I decided that I needed to you know, try to find some shelter, some protection from the storm, and I found an old tree that was hollowed out. It was, I think, probably either an oak or a redwood. I can't remember which it was. It was a long time ago. but just curled myself up into a ball and, you know, just huddled up, you know, together for just to keep warm. Well, it happened around the same time that night that there were a couple of felines that were in that woods, and they had heard my howling, and so when they came around and they were looking, they recognized that there was a cry for help, and so they were searching around, and I didn't know anyone that was looking for me. I didn't know where my pack was. I was just scared and just kind of drifted myself off to sleep. Well, the next thing I knew is I felt like a little gentle tap on my shoulder, and as I looked up, I see two cats staring at me. Now, if you're not accustomed to having cats around, it's a little bit of an intimidation when you see like a puma and a snow leopard staring at you. It's like, can I help you? But actually, they were very sweet and very kind. They had like a warm blanket to be able to just help me to stay warm. They had some provisions with them, some food, some water, some basics. And so as I explained to them, you know, what had happened, and they were willing to help me to try to look for my pack. And that really touched my heart. These were people that didn't know me, and I didn't know them that well, but I could just kind of sense that, you know, I could trust them. Well, as it turned out, my pack did move on, and I still don't know where they are to this day. But I know that they're out there somewhere, and I'm sure that in the future I'll be able to make contact with them again. But until then, staying positive. In fact, that anthro couple, the felines, are I think, if I remember right, they are felines. So it's like a feline. But I came to learn that these two were from another planet altogether. They were from another galaxy and had come to flee to this area because of a disaster that happened on their world. And so essentially they were by themselves as well. There were others of their people, their families that had been scattered across the universe. And so they were kind of in the same situation that I was. So we made our own kind of group, as it were. I was adopted, as it were, by this really sweet couple, and I really appreciate it. So I came to look at them as like a mom and dad. So the snow leopard came to know her as Luna Polaris, and her husband, her mate, was Padrig O'Mara, which means that he laughs a lot. He likes to laugh a lot in Irish. So I came to find out that there were some similarities, that there may have been different clans at one time that had visited before and had given different names that were from the Terran system. But anyway, that's going into another subject. So when it comes here, they took up caring for me. So I came to view them as my mom and dad. And in all senses of the word, they are. They've cared for me, taught me how to become a good, gentle wolf. I've appreciated all the training so far and everything. It's been fantastic. So after time, going to school, there was a few different other people that I've met. There was a tigress by the name of Tigra Relampaga, which means in Spanish lightning tiger, or by her other name that she chooses to go to is Maria de los Luces, which means Merry of the Lights. And then there was another nice guy that had met as well in school. His name was Tony Falcone, a nice verb, a very nice gentleman. And so I came to relate to a lot of them and came to have them as pretty good friends. Over time, there was interest that all of us had in like art, design, some with sports, others with computers, etc. You know how it is, like students. Well, there was a contest that was announced by a local tech company where we were at the time, and they wanted us to be able to design a character that we could be able to have different abilities and that, you know, and we thought it's like, oh well, maybe like for a game and that kind of design. So we got together and just kind of collaborated, and so drew some ideas, and so submitted those, and didn't really think anything of it after that. So later we came to find out that there were ones that were chosen for a special opportunity to receive some really cool tech, the winners of that contest. And as it so happens, my friends and I had become winners of that contest, which was a total shock. But the cool thing about it is what you see here, this is that tech. Now, promise me that you will not tell anyone about this, okay? Because this is very need to be quiet, okay? This tech has a program in it that allows the abilities that we created with our characters essentially to become a part of us, like in real life. I'm not kidding you at all. But also, it allowed us opportunity to help protect against cyber threats. In our town where we grew up, there was a lot of people that tried to bring the cyber world into real life, and usually for nefarious purposes. So it was then we took it upon ourselves to help protect the people that we lived around. And now, mind you, none of us want to go fight and that kind of stuff. It's just how we are. We wanted to instead think about ways that we could resolve situations without resorting to violence. So this here allows me to, well, it's maybe better if I show you. Now I've got a defrost the camera. Hold on just a second. But as you see, it kind of fits with my clan name, Lapaíoighir, meaning ice paws. Essentially, this allows me to be able to freeze whatever my paws touch, or to super cool the air around my paws, so that if I touch, it becomes instantly cold. So there are pros and cons to that. But my friends also each received similar type of tech band here. This serves as like a communicator, so it can pop up a screen here that we can have a video, or also just like a small micro PC. And so it's been actually really cool and useful. But it allows us to both care for the people that helped us, but also to keep an eye out for people that want to just cause harm, and to try to help people to stay safe. So we've tried to also keep this tech very quiet as well, because there are people that would search for this and that would want to take it and use it for their own crafty, devious means. Now, again, I'm swearing you to secrecy on this, okay? Promise that you won't tell anything about that, okay? Alright, I can trust you, right? Okay. So, school finished. My friends and I had moved to different areas, and I've been here, still always been enjoying song, music, everything else. And then later, I came to find out that my stepmom and my Puma dad, that tech that I had received, this was from their people. Which explains why it's like so advanced compared to Terran tech here. Some similarities, but very vastly different also. So this is like a link to their past as well. And we're hoping that maybe this might help them to find more members of their clan too. And it's a way that I could repay it. If you had any questions though for me as well on a little bit more of my background, what I tend to do, what cyber world is like, leave me a comment down below. If there are things that you have questions about, or also I'm curious to know if your Sona, if yourself, you've had a backstory that you want to share. How did you go about choosing your character? Do they have different abilities? Do they have different skills? Well, that's about all the time that I have for this time, guys. But if you like this type of video and you want to have like other story times, as it were, I'll always have a tale to tell. And there will be puns. You know I will make jokes. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a happy Fursuit Friday, and as always, stay frosty, stay fluffy, and I'll see you later, you flufflets, alright? So, bye!